Now we need to get into our motherboard box so that we can connect the opposite end of our BLTouch wires. So first I'll just unplug the cable going to the Raspberry Pi, and I will unplug, we'll leave that plugged in for just a minute. We need to take out this top screw in the middle of our motherboard case on the top. We'll set that aside. We need to take anything out of our little front tray that we might have in there and set that aside, because we need to tip this upside down. So I'm going to just tilt it to the right because that has less stuff that's going to get knocked off. Already my roller and bearings fell out, so I need to go chase those down. Now that we have this upside down, I need to take out the screws that are holding on the bottom cover, so I'll go ahead and do that. Remember, the long screw is in the back when you go to put it back together. As you take out this last screw, kind of support that. And we're going to just unplug our case fan for now and set that aside. Now we can see our wires inside here. So now I'm going to route the other end of our BLTouch connectors, one with the red and the black connectors, down underneath. I'm going to go under our power wire and bring that over into the motherboard area. Now we have two connectors here, and we need to connect those connectors to various parts inside here. Now we have a little 6-pin connector in there that is intended for our little flasher thing that comes with our BLTouch. I am not sure we're going to need that. I'm going to try to connect it via USB cable first and see if that works. But we do need to connect these two wires where they go, and we're going to install our pin 27 board where the monitor cable plugs into. So let's do that. So I get out of my box here. The pin 27 board. And I need to compare the signal, ground, and VCC. And I look at that. I can plug this in both ways, but if I do it the wrong way, that's going to be bad. So I'm going to pull back my little red connector just a little bit, and if I look at the lettering already on the board, it says signal on the left, ground in the middle, and VCC, which is our power, on the right. And if I look at this little connector, I want to turn this so that these pins are down. And if I look at this, red is on the right, that's my VCC, ground is blue in the middle, and signal is the yellow one. So I want to plug it in that way. If I flip it around the wrong way and plug it in, things are going to smoke. So I want to make sure the red is in line with that VCC connection. Okay, now if your pins are wrong, you need to come tell me before you do anything else. Then what we'll do is disconnect our ribbon cable. This is why we told you not to hot glue that one in. And we're going to pull that back just a little bit I'm actually going to pull that kind of underneath all my other wires and pull that out of there for a second. Be careful as you do that you don't unplug something else. So I'm just going to pull that out where I have a little better access to it in a minute. Now that I've got that plugged in, my little power connector here, I'm going to plug the other end in where the monitor goes. Now, when I did this one before, I unplugged that whole, or I plugged it in one pin over, which is possible to do. We want to make sure that that plugs in straight, so get up and look at it. Make sure it goes in all the way and lines up with all the pins. Okay, if it doesn't, when you turn it on, your monitor isn't going to work, your screen. Okay, then we're going to take our original connector for our screen, and we'll plug that into the part on top. Now you might have to hold the bottom of that pin 27 board. You might also have to kind of bend this cable up so that it goes over the top of our little power cable there. Alright, so I'm gonna, next I have to find my Z, which is hiding way under there. Okay, and this one we did glue in, so we might have to remove some stuff. In fact, I'm going to. I'll pull that pin 27 board out of there so we can see this easier. There's my Z-axis plug, so I'm going to wiggle that and try to get it out of there. If you glued it really good, like I did apparently, you might have to get some of that hot glue off of there, and you may have to adjust things around where you can do that. It's this one right here, so I'll get my little screwdriver and I'm going to try to slice that glue just a little bit, and then again over on this side. And then I'll try to pull that out again. There we go. So that time I got my pin, my Z end stop out, and I'm going to feed that through and take it out all together and just have it outside the case. With the BLTouch, you don't need a Z end stop. Now you'll see that that connector is too big to fit through that hole, so I am going to have to loosen this other top screw on the back. So if I flip that over so you can see it a little better. Whoa, sorry about that. I've taken out this top screw then, and I'm going to grab this Z plug and gently pull that through. Then I'll turn it back upside down so we can see underneath here again. I need to take the red one that we have not connected to our pin 27 board, and I'm going to put that down inside this connector that we removed our ZN stop from. Now we want to make sure that our black and white wires match so that the white wire is on the right side going over next to these white wires, and the black wire is on this side going toward the black wires. Then we'll go ahead and pull this back around and plug our pin 27 board in carefully to make sure we align it properly and that it seats all the way down. Then we'll go ahead and take this extra slack from our Z cable, which gives us about an extra 10 inches or so, looks like, and we'll zip tie that together and kind of store it up inside our case. Once I've added the zip tie, I'll just clip that off, and that'll just make it so that it fits up in there nice. We'll make sure everything's seated well, Looks like we are. Now, before I put this together again, before I put the cover on, I'm going to flip this right side up. And we will make sure everything is working before we keep going.